dinner in the colonial capital at Philadelphia's City Tavern. The decor and decorous company in that rendering represent something of an improvement on the original scene, which was very late and men only, but the body language seems right. A young officer, eager to impress, leaning hopefully into the presence of a grave and imposing general who is plainly, if ever so slightly, leaning away. Washington saw immediately in the young Marquis that terrible combination of very little military experience with grand and excited ideas about his prospects in the American army. Though Congress had told Washington that Lafayette's commission was purely honorific, no one seemed to have told the young Marquis, and 2 weeks after that first meeting Washington shot off a letter to Benjamin Harrison, another fellow Virginian in Congress, complaining that his latest French import expected command of a division. What line of conduct I am to pursue to comply with Congress's design and his expectations I know no more than the child unborn, and beg to be instructed. If Congress meant that this rank should be unaccompanied by command, I wish it had been sufficiently explained to him. If, on the other hand, it was intended to vest him with all the powers of a major general, why have I been led into a contrary belief? This difficulty adds no small embarrassment to a command which without it is abundantly perplexed. So it was. At the time Washington met Lafayette, the success of the Revolution was very much in doubt. For more than a year, apart from 2 militarily insignificant but symbolically critical victories in Trenton and Princeton, Washington's army had succeeded only at evasion and retreat. His depleted forces were riddled with smallpox and jaundice. There was not enough money to feed or pay them, and part of the reason Washington was in Philadelphia was that the British, emboldened by their victories to dream of an early end to the war, were on their way toward the capital with a fleet of more than 250 ships, carrying 18,000 British regulars, news that Washington had received with that morning's breakfast. At the dinner where he met Lafayette, Washington had to address the urgent fear of congressmen that Philadelphia itself could fall to the British, and he had nothing of much comfort to tell them, having long since admitted to them and to himself the melancholy truths that his colonial soldiers were no match for redcoats, and that their one saving asset was how well they ran away. Against this backdrop, a pushy French teenager would seem to have been the last problem Washington needed, and eventually he was told that he was free to do as he liked with the impetuous young Marquis. How, then, to explain the fact that before the month of August was out, Lafayette was living in Washington's house with his very small family of top military aides, that in a matter of weeks he was riding at Washington's side on parade, that by early September he was riding with Washington into battle, that after he was wounded at the Battle of Brandywine Creek, a defeat that did indeed lead to the fall of Philadelphia, he was attended by Washington's personal physician and watched over anxiously by the general himself. 3 months after his 20th birthday, Lafayette had his division, and, perhaps somewhat to his own surprise, he became one of Washington's most successful generals, distinguishing himself at the Battle of Monmouth Courthouse and, in command of an army in the South, managing to corner the much greater force of the Earl of Cornwallis at Yorktown, which set up the victorious siege that would be the last battle of the American Revolution. After the war, separated by an ocean, the 2 men wrote and sent each other presents. Washington sent hams, live birds, and silver shoe buckles to Paris,